Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7. Today I just want to talk about the game. Let's just do a sort of state of the game thing. I want to try to do one of these a month just to kind of talk about how I am personally feeling, because if you're the type of person who only browses Reddit, you may have a very different perspective of this game. So I want to tell you guys where I'm coming from, what I feel about each of the issues that are brought up, and what I'm trying to do to make it better. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually the new hunt changes, and first off, I want to say I'm really happy with them. I'm a little stressed about them, but I'm very much happy with the hunt changes. I personally like it when I get artifact powder. I personally like it when I get sky shards. I personally like it when I get all the other things too. Covenant bookmarks. That's exciting to me, and I'd rather have that than a piece of gear. I may or may not be a minority in that, but that's just personally how I feel. That said, I'm worried about their reasoning for doing things. I was actually one of the few people happy with the patch, at least according to Reddit, and then once they released their reasons why, when everybody else got happy, that's when I got a little worried. So I'm going to read out to you what is basically my response to I forget what it was called, like the developer notes for the patch, and this is where they explain why they did the things and why it matters and why they took each direction. So this is also posted in the Epic 7 creators section we have on Discord, which gets directly read by the devs and everything, so everybody reads this sort of thing, and I think it's important to kind of share with you what I'm kind of conveying on my side of things. So what I say is, I really appreciate the transparency from the 2.1 hunt change dev notes, but it also worries me. I did not think hunts really took long at all, especially when compared to similar games, which is obviously Summoner's War. And again, this game pretty much is derived from Summoner's War in a lot of aspects, so you have to keep that in mind, especially from a Summoner's War player. So one of their main reasons for doing the changes they did and changing them the way that they did is that they thought people were getting bored of them. I personally haven't heard of one person on my Twitch channel or YouTube that has really been bored of them, and not many have even been farming it long enough for that to matter. So maybe that is something like the KR side of things complaining, but I personally have not seen this complaint anywhere yet. It is longer now, but once we work on our teams, which is the most fun thing in the world, by the way, it will be faster. So what I'm trying to say here is right now, the runs are pretty long. Like, our runs are 5 to 7 minutes, sometimes even. But once we get better teams and more efficient teams, we'll really be down to that 1 to 3 minute range for all these dungeons. You also say people were bored of hunts, which I don't think is... and I say, I want to play this game all the time. I want to play so much. I want to wake up and start my farming. I want when I sleep to be decided by how much stamina I have left. I want to spend weeks trying to get my run from 2 minutes down to 1 minute and 59 seconds. I want to think, hey, Alexa might be better here, and maybe we can clear it slightly faster. I should build her. Like, that's what I want to consider in this game. I want to work on small little upgrades like that that are meaningful to my account. And before you say 2 minutes down to 159 isn't meaningful, it really is. It feels like such a great accomplishment, especially coming from Summoners War. Again, I'm sorry for referencing that so much. We have timers of all our things, so we know how long our runs take. And we can see and we can cheer on our auto while they're going and hope somebody gets like a good defense break. So I also say I am not once thinking, I wish this run is over and I can spend my stamina and close the game, which is what it feels like the notes are trying to get us to do. I am personally shocked that B11 was added this early into this game. So many people were nowhere near B10 even, and there was still so much development that we could have done to speed up our runs and work towards new units. It's like we fast forwarded the months we were supposed to have fun gearing for B10, and we just teleported past what should have been the most fun and integral points in the game. It was worse now, too, because we are so limited with character choice for Wyvern 11 in its current state. So what I mean by that is we're basically limited to the water units unless you have like a very special unit. So I say, some suggestions I have. One is give us a timer. I don't know why we don't have a timer yet, and especially for hunts. It just doesn't make sense to me. It was such a big part of Summoner's War. We want to repeat the stage all the time and try for better times and be able to measure our runs. Have timers shown within the guilds and have ranking systems within the guilds versus your guildmates. It's just fun that way. Find a way to make refreshing more sustainable. Stop trying to view the game as a stamina versus reward thing, because that's one of the things they kept mentioning was, we have to raise the stamina because you guys get more rewards. And that's just a thin line to cross, and I don't really like that style of thinking. View the game as how we can balance the game so that our players can have fun while being able to afford to play all day long. That's the way I think they should try to view things. And to me, this is the worrying part. I say you completely missed the point of all the complaints. I made a note to say I wasn't worried too much because I was super happy with it. The point was 100% the stamina cost and costs revolving around working on new units, which is obviously stuff like Molagora. Not only did you miss the mark to answer these questions and the hunt changes, but it was actually worse because you did not really mention stamina at all and instead just justified the increase, which is literally the one thing people did not want to hear. Again, please talk to the team and rethink how to approach things, or suggest it. Think, these people want to play all day long. How can we make that the most fun experience possible while also making a ton of money without charging them to actively play the game? Maybe skins is the answer, maybe cosmetics without power, maybe more summons. I don't know, but that's for them to kind of figure out. So those are my general responses to the patch notes. And as you can see, I'm pretty happy with the end results, but I'm not happy with why, and it scares me why. So that's my thoughts on that discussion there. Let's move on to something else, and we can talk about maybe the equip costs and gold costs in Molagora, because I know you guys want me to talk about that. Okay, so next up, let's talk about those things. So I want to say first, when I talk about stuff like this, I don't just consider people like me who spend some money. I've spent about 700 bucks in this game so far. There's a lot of people who spend a lot more than me, and there's a lot of people who spend a lot less than me. So just keep in mind, when I talk about stuff, I'm always considering free-to-play. And if anything, I'm thinking about free-to-play more than anything else. I also play free-to-play accounts alongside my main. But just because you look at my totals here and you think, wow, this guy has 14 million gold and 16,000 crystals, his opinion is out of the window. Just calm down on that side and understand that I play free-to-play and I have those feelings on that account too. So the first thing I want to mention is the Molagora system. Again, I'm so sorry for saying this again, but I am from Summoner's War. I am used to Molagora. In Summoner's War, it was a little better and a little worse at the same time. So let's say we are skilling up. Let's go to the skill up window here. We are skilling up Dien in Summoner's War. When we put a Molagora into her, it chooses a random skill. So we don't get to choose which one we upgrade. So it's a very different system than what we have here. And I'm pretty happy with how Molagora are at this time. I'm not one of the type of people who want Molagora refunds. And I'm pretty happy just spreading out my Molagora, getting some important things. And for the cases when they're waifu like Araminta, I put a little extra in and give them a little extra love. I haven't felt super limited yet at all with Molagoras, and I've only bought one Molagora pack. I have not bought the two before it. So would I like more Molagora? Yes, obviously I would be stoked for more Molagora, but I also don't want to just instantly be able to build everything. I want my decisions to matter, and I think that matters in the long run. Maybe a lot of people don't see it that way, but again, these are just my thoughts and opinions, me completely freely here. I'm happy. There's only honestly one thing I regret. Like, if I look at all of my units, I don't want to refund these. All of these have given me all the love in the world. They've tried. I've used them everywhere. I'm happy with every last one of these. Except for, of course, the Cuirass. And I'm actually going to talk about this in a little bit too, later on. So we'll come back to Cuirass in the future. I have about 14 Molagora into Cuirass, and I am very angry about it. So we'll talk about that in the near future, but for now, I don't think I'm limited with Molagora. I'm pretty happy with where things are at. I wish I had more, but it makes me want to decide things a little better. Because right now, I've got Mascot Hazel, I want a Molagora. I have Kitty Clarissa, I want a Molagora, and I have Guider Aether, I want a Molagora. But when I look at things, I don't think I need to max every character. I think I might need to get the important ones, and then the rest I can get along the way if I decide I really want to go further into that unit. So if we want to go like a little deeper into Guide or Aether, I would definitely get this one here, which is a total of 3, 5, 6 Molagora. And I would just leave first and second skill available there. But if I felt like I wanted to invest more into him, I would go for the deeper ones here and be happy about it. But then on another hand here, I have people like, what's a good example of this? Like Angelica, where I'm going to be stuck at 3 for a long time, and I don't think I'm putting any more into her. I don't think it's necessary to get any more. So just with a total of 1, 3, 6 Molagora, which is a lot, by the way, but still, with just 6 Molagora, that is enough to completely make her beyond usable and beyond happy about using her. So I think people need to take a step back from Molagora and realize you don't need 50 Molagora per person like everybody's saying. You actually just need like 5 to 7 to maybe get that important one, or if they're really stat hungry, like somebody like Isaria, it will take double that. So that's something to consider. Also, to go with that, there is the equipment situation here, and I want to be really clear here. I do not think we should get free equipment removal permanently. I don't think that's a thing I will be happy about. It's something I'll be really stressed about, actually. The goal of this game is to keep wanting to farm more equipment, to keep wanting to build more units. And I find if we're allowed to freely unequip our units, I'm gonna use stuff like this ring and just never use it because this isn't as good as it could be. I'm gonna look at stuff like these boots, and I'm just never going to use these boots because I'll just toggle in my better pair of boots. And that's what I end up doing when you get free equipment removal like that. So I personally really hope we don't get that, but I would really like something bi-weekly or, God, I always get confused which that means. I would really like it once a month or once every 2 weeks. And there's so many different ways they can do this. In Summoner's War, it was the first Saturday of every month, basically. But I would like that different here. I would like it toggleable through the guild, so the guild can earn enough points in Guild Wars. Forgot to turn that off. The guild could earn enough points to run one every week or so, or every 2 weeks for a 24-hour period. Toggleable, just like our gold and XP buffs. Another thing is they could toss it into our monthly login summons and have each person be able to activate it once a month. They could even stockpile it up if they wanted to, if they didn't want to use it. So that's something I really think needs to happen. I don't think it's okay, the situation we're at now, without any free equipment removal at all. But I think the equipment charges are super fine once we start getting regular equipment removal. And I'm honestly shocked we don't have another one yet. Once I saw we got one on the 20th or 16th of December, I thought for sure we were going to get one by the 16th of January. And it is now February and we don't have it. So that's something to really, really consider. That said, I would be okay if they took away the unequipped cost of artifacts, because I'm constantly switching my artifacts around. And as you can see, like, my characters are all over the place right now. Like, half of them are missing gear because I am trying to get different testing options done. So I would definitely benefit from it, but it's one of those things I've experienced before and I've experienced with it, and I just find it better to be. Okay, next up is stamina. Stamina's tough. I would always love more refreshing with stamina. That said, I haven't ran out of stamina on my alt yet with Sky Shards. I'm still refreshing with Sky Shards on the free-to-play account, no problem. I'm still able to play the game all day long, no problem. That said, I'm not allowed to summon as much, but that's okay because that's kind of the sacrifice you make for being able to play 12 hours a day without spending money. So, I'm not sure what to say about stamina. Stamina is one of those things where I am happy with it, but I could be happier. And if it makes the general populace so much happier, then I'm all for finding a better way to regenerate stamina. Because refreshing 60 feels kind of bad. I do agree with that. But I'm not sure what the right number is. And I feel like 30 Sky Shards for a full refresh would be a little too much. Especially since I feel like with the way they're approaching things, the way they're thinking, this is giving this now, so this has to cost this stamina. Once they lower the value of stamina, it's going to take them more stamina to do things. So that also kind of worries me. I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. And a lot of people complain about stuff like Arrogant Zero taking 50 or 60 stamina, or 30 stamina and 15 stamina. They don't really realize how valuable a 5-star unit is. Even if this one was a little underwhelming, the fact that we could get a free 6-star essentially for just a little bit of stamina is kind of astonishing. So let's talk about shop prices now. I didn't want to touch on stamina too much, but shop prices. I am very happy with their shop prices right now, but they need to add more. So right now we have Monthly Pack 1 and Monthly Pack 2, which I think are two things people can buy pretty safely. I think most people who play actively should buy the $6.99 pack, or $5 American or something like that. I feel like that's a really good place to be. I am personally never going to buy something like a gold pack or a leaf pack or a nurture pack, just because that's not fun to me. I will never buy something like that unless it's something insane like Molagora's, but I will buy summoning and I will buy fun, which is how I look at it. So unfortunately, I bought the 2 New Year's packs, but we can't look at them right now. But they are priced at $50 and $100 USD. And that is okay. I am okay with that pricing structure, but I am not okay with there not being a $15 to $25 price item, or even like a $6 to $25 priced item. They're just missing out on so much money. Like, there's so many people who refuse to spend $50 on a game like that, and I fully understand. I super agree with you. But those same people would happily spend $15 every couple weeks, or $25 every couple weeks on those smaller packs, and you could make those smaller packs really good without really worrying about it, because they're one-time purchases. So for this new year, and it's freaking new year for them, like this should have been huge, right? But if they added a $15 to $25 pack or something like that, that gave us an ML summon, a 4 to 5-star ticket, and some amount of Sky Stones, and some amount of Covenant bookmarks, make it really, really good value, but only one purchase per account. All of a sudden, you have so many more people spending money, and you have the whales that are buying the $50 and $100 ones every time anyway. They're just going to buy the $25 one anyway. Like, if somebody is buying both the $50 and $100, there is zero chance they're not also going to buy the $25 ones. So it just doesn't make sense to me. There's so many people in that spot that will not spend too much money, but will spend that small amount. Like, charge them $5 here and there, and they will spend $100, but they will never spend $100 in one pack, if that makes sense. And I think that's what's really missing here, and I think it's a good place for them to make a lot of money. Alternatively, cosmetics, I really think they should be making money off of cosmetics, especially with the wonderful job they've done for art and voices here. Like, I would be okay paying $10 to unlock an extra sound pack for my Araminta, for example. Get Sumali in here to do some more voices and just be really happy about it. What else do we need to talk about? I think I've covered most of the things in the state of the game right now and how I feel. There's a lot of changes I would obviously like. Actually, there's one more thing I want to touch on, and I think that's really important, is how they're handling compensation, maintenance, and issues. So I think this is one thing that people are really upset about right now, especially coming from Dragalia Lost. There's a lot of people coming from Dragalia Lost. Would you look at that? I said a game that wasn't Summoner's War. In Dragalia Lost, if you're not familiar with it, you were stoked when they screwed up. If they screwed up, the subreddit would be full of, yes, Dragalia Lost screwed up. What are we going to get this time? And everybody was happy. They were just stoked beyond words. But here, they don't compensate us. They don't have to, but they should. It's really easy to make people happy. It's really easy to log into the game and have it say, GM Crow sends his regards. I'm very sorry that I screwed this up. My handwriting was misunderstood. Here's 100 Sky Shards. You know, like, how easy is that? Everybody's happy. The subreddit is filled with happiness instead of negativity and pissed offness. And everything is great. And they keep screwing up in terms of little things like this, and it just eats at me every time they do it. A lot of their events are ending before they should end. A good example of this is the recall event. I'm still fighting for my Molagora back. but it doesn't look like I'm getting where. Even as a creator, I can't bribe them to do it. But for those of you who don't know, in the patch notes, they had the time wrong for when the Molagora event ended. So I woke up in the morning expecting to have like at least 8 hours left to recall Curious, and it was ended before the maintenance started. So instead, I was stuck here with a Curious with about 14 Molagora in her, not to mention all sorts of other things, because they were wrong. Like, they were straight up wrong. They admitted to being wrong, but they're like, sorry, we can't fix it. And that is infuriating to me. I should not lose $100 in this game because they screwed up. Like, that is just baffling to me, and I don't even know what to say about that. I've never once in a game like this felt that way, and that is just such a scare to me, because I just want to feel happy, you know? I want to be happy, and I don't want there to be any room for negativity. And it's really sad because you can go onto other subreddits and you could see, like, say 3 different subreddits are having maintenance right now. You can go on the Azur Lane subreddit and they're too busy posting boobs to really notice what's going on. But the one guy that does notice is stoked because we get maintenance after it. You can go on the Dragalia Lost subreddit and people are stoked because they're about to get a tenfold. And then you go onto the Epic 7 subreddit and people are pissed because they don't know when the maintenance is happening. They don't know for how long it's happening. They don't know if they're getting any maintenance worthwhile. They don't know anything. So that's the big difference there. And I think that's such an easy fix, like such an easy fix. And for example, for the people who are unfamiliar with Dragalia Lost, we had a change recently in Epic 7 where we got an extra, we got an extra bit of energy from our Leafs, and they did the same thing in Summoner's War, but you know what they did in they did the same thing in Dragalia Lost. But you know what they did in Dragalia Lost is they refunded everybody the difference of what they've spent. So for example, if 70 energy here, if next patch they changed the Leafs to refresh 100 energy instead of 70 energy, in Dragalia Lost, they would have went back, counted how many Leafs you used, and sent you that many Leafs back in terms of how much you've spent. So you would get the difference of the 70 energy to minus 100 energy. So you get 30 energy per Leaf you spent previously to the patch, because when they changed it, they wanted to make sure people didn't feel bad about using them in the past, which is where I'm at right now. I don't want to use my Leafs because what if these are refilling for full stamina next time around? Like, I know they're not going to refresh it in their current state, and that kind of worries me. So that's about it. This was a long video. I don't even know how long I've been talking for, and I just needed to talk to you guys. I feel like every now and then I just kind of need to let out my thoughts and kind of see where you guys are at too. I would personally really love to hear all of your thoughts, opinions, in the description below. Obviously, I have a lot of different opinions than other people, so keep that in mind too. If you want to fight me on some of my opinions, don't fight me on it. Just try to talk and be happy together and figure out a way we can work towards something that makes sense, and figure out why I want something and why you want something, and then we can kind of compare things up that way. I always have discussions like that. But if you're saying to me you're stupid for wanting this, then I'm not going to answer you, so keep that in mind. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. I'll be back in maybe 3 to 4 weeks with another one of these. So have a great day. Bye, everybody.